Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Science of Fitness podcast. Today we have Oscar Munro, fellow staff member at SOF here and EP for, pretty sort of solid amount of time now for us for the last couple of years. So, Oscar, welcome onto the show.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Mate, there's plenty I want to unpack, and it's quite funny when we speak to members. They always want the staff on the show, and they've often brought up your name saying, "Why hasn't Oscar been on? He's been here so long," and I'm like, actually, it's a good point. So, really excited to finally have you on, mate. And I think there's a lot more that I think we'll be able to discuss that'll be relevant to a lot of people listening to this than we can probably even imagine. So, to kick things off, I want to talk about you. I want to talk about your story. Talk us through it. Where were you born? Where did you grow up? Brizzy boy, what's the story?
Yep. So born in Bankstown boy. Grew up in Queensland. Mum and dad are Kiwis, so ended up moving down there for work for dad, and I think I lived there for a total of about 6-7 weeks maybe. Older brother was born in in Queensland, Mater Hospital. Same with my sister. So we were up here, went down. I was born, then just shot straight back up. So
do you support the Blues or
support the Queensland Maroons? Okay, Maroons nice. Always, yeah. No,
you really shouldn't, but that's all right. I understand why you've changed. That's fair enough, mate. Cool. So born and sort of raised technically here in Queensland. Yeah,
I'll claim the Brizzy title, but
strong.
So pretty much grew up same family house over in Holland Park. Been there my whole life. No longer live there now, but yeah,
I'd hope, mate.
Oh yeah, grew up there.
Beauty. Let's go into sort of sport, exercise. Was it always a part of your life? Did you stumble on it late? Talk me through all that.
Yeah. So mum always grew up a swimmer. So over in New Zealand, I don't know why they wanted to swim. Every pool's cold. But anyway, mum grew up as a swimmer, and as a result, just didn't force us fully to do it, but initially did, and it was one of the things that I just grew to really loved. So I probably started doing that when I was about 6, maybe 6 years old. At the same time, dad grew up playing footy. So I was also over at East Rugby Union playing footy since the age of 6. I was swimming up until pretty much the end of high school, but my rugby career pretty much stopped around year 10 or so. Just one became more important than the other. I figured out pretty quickly that I was a little bit better at swimming than I was at rugby, and kind of went after it a little bit harder for a while, and then just dropped back on it a little bit with studies. End of year 12, everything just got a little bit tough. I was good, but I wasn't good enough to get there. So decided to pull the pin, focus a little bit more on studies, and that led us to me kind of being in this area, I guess. So they're probably the two main sports that I was doing. As always, with every, I feel like, Australian kid, you do everything. So as I was growing up through primary school, I did soccer in school. I did rugby league in school. I went to a state school, so we didn't do any rugby union or anything like that. So I did rugby league, soccer, dabbled in swimming, OzTag on weekdays, touch on Friday nights, like the whole lot.
Footy on the Saturdays.
Literally anything, swim meets on the weekend, like Tuesday night swim club. It was just it seemed all year round there was just some kind of sport going on, whether it was myself, my brother, my sister. We all just happened to fall into something, which is always good.
Man, it's funny because it is sort of etched in our culture, and I think we sort of maybe take it for granted in this country. But it has such an influence, I guess, on kind of how it shapes potentially our careers and all that sort of thing as well. So was there a sort of point, through that process, particularly into high school, later part of high school, obviously you wanted to head down into year 12 and get sort of, into the academic side of things. Were you always drawn back to the sport thing from that transition end of 12 to, actually choosing to study ex-phys? Talk me through that sort of process.
Yeah. Well, I always thought sport was in some way, shape or form for me, whether I was going to play it or work in it, whatever it was going to be. In year 11, we started this elite athlete program through our school. There's a few of us that were selected for it. And I think off the back, that was a bit of a catalyst to really get into the area of sport. As most people in like the sport and exercise realm, some people aspire to do physio, and I was actually one of those people. However, as I was getting close to the end of year 12 and you're finishing your grades, I wasn't quite there. And so I was more guided to your sports science, your EPs, just because it was a little bit academically easier to get into than the medical grade physiotherapy.
Yeah. Well, physio was, you're still in the OP system.
Literally,
then?
yeah. So
it was
doctors OP1, physio OP1 to 2.
Yeah.
So I got guided into this and never really looked back. If I think about what happened after that, I've been guided pretty well, just with little mentors along the way that have ushered me into sports programs that have helped me, learn my trade and slowly progress into where I am now, which is fully qualified and attacking the world day by day.
Yeah, nice. Very good. It's really interesting because I think it's sort of, at some point, hopefully the ex-phys, ex-science does require a higher level qualification or grading system, like, a higher OP or whatever, but obviously that'll exclude people. If I think about how I behaved and the marks I got in high school, emotionally probably not very mature and had no idea what I wanted, so therefore didn't care, therefore didn't do very well, stumbled into this industry as a sort of catchment, loved every minute of it, turned around and did a double degree in science, or, did an undergrad, did a master's, and, exercise phys is probably the same thing. You're probably finishing high school going, I'm not going to really base my career on a very scientific heavy type subject, yet here we are. Was that sort of the case for you, or did you always love the sciences?
No, it's funny you say that. When I was I had a bit of like a curveball hit me. So out of high school, first year university, you always get told no one's going to help you. Like, that's the one thing. Everyone's like, no one's holding your hand, you're on your own. Get into first year uni and all of a sudden it's just anatomy, physiology, everything's thrown at you. And I'm like, I got like a B+ on high school HPE.
Yeah.
And so you're just like, you don't really learn all this stuff. And there was one subject and I ended up failing it. And I think that was a bit of a what am I doing kind of moment. And it ended up being I thought it was going to be a bump in the road, and it ended up being a 6-month bump in the road, where that was a subject that you have to pass to do this and continue on. So when that happened, thankfully it happened early on, it was a bit of like a light bulb moment of like, I'm spending this money. This is something I want to do. I need to be better at this. And it lit a bit of a fire to get better and learn and take the time and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, nice. That was going to be one of the questions, is sort of what are the hard things or maybe good things and good experiences that you've dealt with, be it through sports, school, education, that have sort of shaped you both personally and or professionally, and obviously that's a big one.
That's probably one of the big ones that was like a big wake up call.
Yeah. And did it take a conversation from your parents sort of thing, or was it like, I just feel a bit embarrassed because it probably didn't need to do this, or just the inconvenience?
Embarrassment, 100%. It ended up becoming like and I've spoken to a few people about this because I know someone who's gone through the exact same thing, and I think they've done what I've done, and you kind of just go, I'm part-time. You just like result to because you don't have to face the questions anymore, and you're like, So that's what I did, and in hindsight, like, I got through it. I am better off for it now. I ended up getting better grades down the line as a result of it. So it's a blimp in the radar, but something
it does shape you, right?
Yeah, 100%.
It's funny, like, if life's always good, it's too cruisy, we probably don't actually improve, and it's when you get that slap in the face of, hey, switch on. Like, you're going to be an adult and you're going to chase this career, or are you going to bum out and do something else? So
100%.
Yeah, really interesting.
Absolutely.
And so was that from the get-go? You finished high school and you're like, I'm going to go and do ex-phys because of the sports side of things, or did you go, I'll do sports science and I want to work down in that route?
Yeah.
Physio was always on the cards. Was this going to be a stepping stone towards physio?
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, I was never educated on how to get there. So it was kind of just like, sweet, ex-phys, that's it, I'm in. And it was just all throw your chips in and just go hard at it.
Did you have any career aspirations? I want to work as an ex-phys, or were you like, this is just what I'm going to do?
I wouldn't say career aspirations necessarily for ex-phys. It was more so I want to work in some kind of sports and science area. I really like sports and I want to do that for the rest of my life. Yeah. I'm probably not a good enough athlete to play professionally and earn money for it. So I may as well work with people who can, or help those who have suffered and try and make their lives better as well. So but no, it's pretty much straight away. Yes, blimp in the radar, but after that it was all systems go, and I was pretty much just fully committed on trying to do this for the rest of my life.
Yeah, nice. What point was it? Was it that sort of failing moment going, this is a career, there's a salary there that I want to earn, there's work that I want to do? Or were you still like, no, I need to switch on, just get this done, that'll come? And, was that sort of in your mind?
Yeah, I think a bit of both. A bit of both. Like, if you look at our industry, if you want to chase money, go to finance. You want to chase money, go to whatever property, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
It's more just you've got a passion and you want to help people. You want to nurture them. And so that's just where my headspace was the whole time. It was never really necessarily how do I make as much money as possible in this industry. It was just, can I get the degree done and then slowly make a difference along the way. A few little like awesome stepping stones, like towards probably about my third year in, I ended up linking up with an old mentor of mine who he was actually the one who started the athlete program at our high school. And as a result, I literally just met him again at one of my mates' 21st, and he took me through the whole of East Rugby Union clubhouse and their gym system. And he's a very, very switched on guy, Brad Pillett-Hughes, if he is ever watching this. But he pretty much was just like, mate, what are you doing? I explained to him, and he just took me under his wing straight away. And that was probably the first time that I was like, yeah, this is it. Like, I'm fully in here.
There's a career.
100%.
This is exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Because there's one thing that I hate, and I tell all the interns, and the interns agree absolutely, is the structure for the university for EP X Science. You don't do your first placement until 3 years into your course. So a lot of I know people who do their first placement and then they go, hang on, I hate this. Like, I can't talk to people. I want to make squillions of dollars. Like, this is not my industry. I think nurses get it the best. Like, first year, bang, straight into placement. You figure out real quick whether you're going to like it or not.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we need to get better at as a learning education system. So I think, I was lucky enough to dip my toes into it and actually really enjoy it and froth it.
Yeah, early on. It's true. It's such a good point, you know. What do we do? Are we scientists? We roll around in shorts and shirts and joggers all day. Like, no, I guess. But, you know, we're not in the lab testing things. But then at the same time, we can do VO2 max and blood lactate and jump on force plates and look at physics. And we spend that most of our day doing that sort of stuff. So scientifically, it's very entrenched, but you're kind of active and moving with people, teaching, communicating, selling. Like, there's all these layers of human nature, of behavioral sort of science, and then of the actual science in practice. So it's multi-diverse, it's multi-skilled, and it's actually really quite a niche industry for a certain personality. And then there's realms within that. But I think for the person that sort of thinks they're either going to sit down in a lab and do this job, or they're going to be on the gym floor and not having to think about the science, it's like, that's going to be really challenging. So it's an interesting sort of observation. And my experience was I just went straight in, did Cert 3 and 4. It's a 3-month course, and I was in the industry. And so I was working and earning money as a practitioner all through my studies. Loved every minute of the study because it just made me better every single time, every single course, every single unit. So, it's really interesting. So you've graduated. You've sort of gone through the last 2 years. Talk us through that. So since you sort of graduated and how that's been.
Yep. Cool. Well, I first got here it would have been actually end of 2021. I did my first placement here, and then off the back of that, signed up as a member, started doing group fitness, did my own thing for a bit, and then pretty much a year later, everything came full circle. You asked me to come over and help out Jeeps. By this time, that's end of 2022 now. Still that would have been end of third year. And then from there was working here doing S&C work and then helping out with Jeeps, just a little bit of casual part-time. And then pretty much finished up in the end of 2024 at uni. Graduated, became a 2023, graduated.
You're a year ahead, mate. You've been out for more than 1 year at uni.
Finished 2023, became a full-fledged, legit exercise physiologist, start of 2024. And since then, just really trying to chuff along. Everything started slow and quiet. Severe cases of imposter syndrome to the highest degree, especially being surrounded by very, very smart individuals all the time. And from there, just slowly started getting more clients, seeing different people from different population groups, all parts of life, different diseases, comorbidities. and just slowly growing knowledge around it all, because you don't have any of the answers. Coming out of university, you just go, gee whiz, like you feel like you know everything for about 3 days, and then someone asks you just a really obscure question, and you're like, I know nothing, and then you hear someone right next to you just completely answer it. Super crazy. So yeah, like the last 2 years has been really good now. Like I feel I've gone from having, 3-4 clients to having 5, 6, 7, 8 clients a day, every day. Slowly growing, our 50s program now, which is really good. We're averaging, your 8 to 10 people every single class now, just about. And the last couple of years as well, I've been in sport for 4 years. So of most recently, I've picked up, I was working at South. So the last 2 years, 2024 and this year as well, working at South Rugby Union, doing the head of S&C there, which has been really good. So it's cool. Like all different walks of life, you see a bunch of different people, and you pick up different things from different diseases, injuries, whatever it might be, and you just add it to your tool belt and slowly learn. It's cool.
Yeah. And you get that sort of taste of a range of populations. You
Absolutely.
haven't sort of been niched into a single thing. So, it's pretty interesting. So, for the average listener or someone that doesn't quite know what a normal day looks like for you, talk us through that really briefly. Like, what are you seeing?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty aware of it, but give us a little taste.
It can get pretty crazy. Let's pick a day. If we go something like a casual Wednesday, recently I was starting off with someone with charge syndrome, which is essentially just a bunch of different genetic disorders that have been put into one. It'll affect breathing, it'll affect heart, hearing, all sorts of things. So essentially, you just have to figure out what he can do, how well he can do it, and then just try and get him moving as best as possible. I'll then roll into a client with autism, who's always awesome, love him, super fun. I'll be with him for about an hour, and then straight after that, I'm on a video call with a 92-year-old client who, mate, in the last 6 months has just come on leaps and bounds. When we first did his, I love talking about him. When we first did our sit to stand, we did a 5 sit to stand, which for those who don't know, it's a test where you pretty much, you're seated and you stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down. Seems pretty easy. You do that as quickly as you can, 5 times. And his very first one was 24 seconds. And that was him holding onto a chair. He's just got no strength, no balance. And now we've got him to a point where he has hands out in front of his body. He no longer uses the chair, and he's down to 15 seconds.
Yeah,
so we've knocked off heaps of time there, but also his ability to actually have confidence around that and not have to hold onto the chair, which is
that's online.
Oh yeah, it's
live?
Huge. Up in Redcliffe area, somewhere around there.
So the side of Brisbane.
Yeah,
not going to commute at 92.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, cool.
And just does his program every day. Every day does his program.
The best patients,
can't fault
best
him.
clients.
Yeah, 100%. And then I'll roll into a DVA client, so that's Department of Veteran Affairs client. And then from there, I might have someone with previous open heart surgery. I might finish off with someone who's had double knee replacement, double shoulder replacement. It just gets pretty crazy. And then in between, you'll have your healthy population who's got nothing wrong with them. They just want to get nice and strong. Yeah. And it's just like sweet. Let's get really strong. Let's do it.
Yeah, and it's like, this is a relief. You can do this with your eyes closed compared to those.
It's just like sweet. It's not switch off kind of mentality, but it's just like, this is good. This is easy.
Yeah.
Compared to all the other challenges that you've had leading up to that.
Deal with nuanced little mechanical details as opposed to going, well, let's just move. It's not perfect. It doesn't matter. We're moving.
100%.
Really
Absolutely.
Interesting. What else are you sort of dealing with week to week? I mean, you've, from a versatility perspective, you've probably got one of the more versatile profiles in terms of patients and clients and programs that you're working on.
Yeah.
What are sort of the other things that have landed on your lap in the last 2 years?
Yeah. So one of the other ones, like I mentioned before, we're doing the 50s program. So I look after that predominantly here at Platinum. Probably the biggest one that the big whale that we've landed is we do an army program. So They do about 4 blocks every single year. They go for 8 weeks, but they see us for 7 weeks. And now it's essentially they come in, they do some testing. We write them specific programs based on their injuries, goals, testing,
Each
etc.
individual per block?
Correct, yes. So
How many
for example,
per block roughly?
So this block, for example, we've got about 19. Last block, I think we had about 20. Yep. We'll write up reports at the very end, which shows their progress. So we use all the VOLD data to see where they start and where they go. And then on top of that, where they're on base and then they come in here for multiple sessions a week. Typically it goes from Tuesday through to Friday, either we're there or they're here. We'll do every day for 7 weeks. And we'll do a presentation of some sort, or we might do a Pilates class, or they might do some form of breathing, down regulation, whatever it might be. Yeah. And then we always have an hour before that where we'll oversee them doing their program, just so we make sure that they're doing their rehab, their strength training, all that stuff correctly.
Is it a performance or recovery based program?
It depends. Absolutely depends. We get a mix of those that are post-op, dealing with chronic injuries. We also might have someone who's potentially mental health. So for someone like that, they're not physically affected by any little amendments or anything like that. So we can essentially just give them exactly what they need, high intensity, whatever it might be. So there's a bit of both. So you might have someone who's a week, or not a week, but maybe 6 or 7 weeks post-op. You also might have someone who's been strength training for 7 years, but they've got some mental health issues. So physically, they're very capable. So we can push that person a little bit harder than we can the person who's 6-7 weeks post-op.
Yeah, right.
So it's a complete mixed bag.
Yeah.
You don't really know what you're going to get until a week before we start and they all come in for testing.
And we do the testing and we say, where are you at? You've just had an operation. Yeah, it's a full-on program. I think the best part about it is the education element that we're doing, as you mentioned. But, professionally really challenging, but stimulating at the same time. It's sort of, one of the big ones. Okay, so just to recap, you're sort of heading up Fit Over 50's group fitness program, which is, roughly people in their 60s later. And that's just sort of small group fitness, strength training type stuff. Mm-hmm. Then we've got this ARMY program, which is a complex sort of layer of rehab right through to performance, sport performance stuff that you're doing. And then your every day-to-day clients.
One-on-one clients,
from NDIS through to DVA and everything in between. It's a pretty versatile profile. From a blanket sort of rule perspective, what's sort of an observation you make that probably applies to every single one of the people in that whole sort of profile that you're dealing with from an exercise perspective? Be it you wish they knew, be it you're observing through their sort of, training or behaviors or whatever it might be. Yeah.
I think one of the big ones is just to ask the question. I see a lot of people who they're just completely unsure. We get it a lot with our ARMY guys, and they've got no idea what the movement is, how they should be doing it, and they just go headphones in, head down, do something.
Cross your fingers, hopefully it works.
Absolutely. And you just see it so often, and it got to a point where we're like, headphones out. It's like, as long as we're in here, it's like no one wears headphones. We need to be able to talk to you, tell you what you're doing better, worse, whatever it might be. And the second one would just be like, take that first step and try the hard thing, I would say. You don't get better by just doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. Like, especially if you want to improve and do that next marathon, do that next whatever sprint, pick up your grandchild, whatever it might be. You just need to do that next hard thing. And that could be, it's as simple as taking the first step into a gym. That could be the next hard thing. Yeah. But just consistently trying to do the next hard thing is probably the most important thing that I see a lot with clients all around.
Yeah, nice. Let's jump to your own training. What have you taken from EP? Obviously you got the studies and this foundational knowledge of all these principles of exercise, and then you've seen it with clients, and then you've had to start to manage a schedule where you're starting in early mornings or finishing late in the evening. And how have you sort of found that, setting that up and making sure you take care of yourself over the last 2 years, given that you are someone that practices what he preaches? So let's sort of unpack that a little bit. What does your current training week look like?
Yeah. So currently I'm getting a lot of slack for this of late. I'm doing a High Rocks. I'm going to do Brisbane High Rocks,
There's another one.
and I'm going to try and win it. No one believes in me. I'm using it as fuel for the fire.
Well, mate, you put it on public record now. The whole world will know.
I know
this.
Emily Adams is rolling in a grave. I never done one before. She'll be fine. But anyway, I am trying to train 2 full strength sessions a week. And then a third S&C session. So just trying to build a little bit more volume through the legs as well with conditioning. And then I want to do like a high intensity, high rock style kind of session. That's probably my big strength work that I'm actually in here doing. And then outside of that, some interval runs and some longer runs. But yeah, like I think the biggest thing when I started working in this industry was like, waking up early, holy moly! Like it's pretty rough.
You came from a swimming background.
Yeah,
Surely
I know. But another thing, like while it is, it's weird waking up super early. We've had the discussion. You finish your day. You start at 5. You finish at 1. Like, what does everyone do with their day? Like we've got so much time to do whatever we want. We're up at 5. Well, we're up at 4 really, but we're up at 5 working, up at 6 working. While people are still
at 5
in bed.
a.m. You're smiling, getting people pumped up, ready to train them. You're not just waking up. Then you're at work.
Yeah, and it just makes me think like it's when I work in the afternoons and I have a sleep and I'm like, geez, I've only got like 2 hours until I have to work. What's going on?
I've
here?
wasted the morning.
Yeah, because once you do your gym and then you're into work, like you don't have much time at all. So that's probably one of the biggest things that was a bit of a shock to the system. But then what I've taken away over the course of learning EP and how that applies to my strength training is you don't have to just go flat stick the whole time.
Yeah.
Like when I first started doing gym, it was just like, let's do 15 sets of bench press and superset that with tricep extend. Like it was just the most gnarly workout, and I'd have sore shoulder, absolutely no legs at all. And now it's just like, I don't need to do that. You just need to be... You can be a little bit more conservative with your training. You can push the weights a little bit harder. You don't have to do as much volume. And you can actually feel a lot better and recover a lot better by doing that, as opposed to just going flat stick the whole time.
Yeah, totally. It takes a little bit of time to work that out on your own. But once you do, yeah, it's really interesting. And in terms of, I guess, the career, and already in the last nearly 3 years, obviously you studied before, it's evolving really quickly, and it's actually becoming pretty significant and substantial. Health and fitness as a whole is just growing year on year. What probably most excites you about this industry? Yeah,
it's such a young space. It's funny, like me and Emily and I we'll be doing an exercise physiology session with our clients, and someone might get a phone call and just say, "Hey, hold on, I'm just doing a physio session." So it's just like over the years, hopefully it'll start to get a little bit more clear. It's like it's not physio, it's EP. It's a little bit different. Physio,
how would you define that difference? You're probably just about to do it.
Yeah, well, so I would more so define physio as firstly they can diagnose conditions. So they can diagnose conditions, injuries, all those kind of things. We don't. We get given the condition, and we essentially just manage the treatment, and we provide as good a result as we can.
Using
exercise, yeah. The easiest, the analogy that I like to think about it is if you go to the doctor and you get given a script by your doctor, you don't ask them how should I just take this for like 1 day, or I'll just take this for 1 day and that's it. The doctor's going to tell you exactly how much to take, when to take it, why you're taking it, for how long you need to be taking it until you can stop doing it. We're the exact same. We get given exactly what we are told by a physio or a doctor or whatever it is, and then we'll prescribe exercises, we'll prescribe sets, reps, all those kind of things, how long, how you progress, all those little things that really add up in the long run.
And you through the education you've taken into, or you get to take in the clinical considerations for the versatile musculoskeletal injuries, genetic disorders, diseases, contraindications, medications, all that sort of stuff. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And we work hand in hand with physios really, particularly in those early stages, those acute phases, which is
musculoskeletal stuff.
Correct, yeah. So if someone's just had an acute injury, so they've just rolled their ankle, for example, or come out of surgery, whatever it might be, they need physio early on. Like research will tell us that they need physio early on. They most likely will need some form of manual treatment. However, as you progress, you need exercise rehabilitation. That's going to give you the most bang for buck, and that's where we come in. And so, under the guidance of the physio, we'll slowly implement our magic, so to speak, our exercises, sets, reps, all those kind of things, and then slowly, it's a handoff from physio. Will slowly give the reins to the EP, and they'll take the client on the rest of their journey.
Yeah, it's sort of funny. I mean, I've spoken about it a fair bit on this show, and that sort of grey area of I've finished with the physio, I'm starting with the EP. It's not clearly set in stone. 20 years ago, there were not a couple of hundred EPs rolling around ready to take the reins from the physio. So the physio kind of did it, and then it was like, okay, see ya, cross your fingers, hopefully you're good, or how long until I take care of you. So it's really exciting, and the sport performance world has it. Physio hands over to either an EP, an S&C, whatever it might be, but it's a cross-pollination sort of thing. And I think if anything, from adding to what you said about experience in the education part of the career, it's also being able to teach EPs a little bit more about the injury side of things, and to have a really acute sort of understanding of what the injury is, what the pathology is, and what the physio is doing in those initial stages, so that when they do say load this much but not too much, etc., you go, yep, I speak that language. And I think early on in your career you've worked with a lot of physiotherapists already. And that's probably a skill you've developed nicely and really quickly, but a lot of EPs tend to miss. Yeah.
And that's one of the most important things that I got told early on. And it was just like, from a physio point of view, they're thinking, all right, what's the surgeon thinking? So that's their person who's giving them the patient. And for someone who's got musculoskeletal injury, from our point of view, we got to be thinking, all right, sweet, we're getting handed over by a physio. What's the physio thinking? Why has the physio been doing this? What's their treatment plan been? And how can we utilize that to continue the process and get a good result for the client?
Yeah, no, I love it. How do you see the space evolving, exercise physiology, particularly as a career, as an industry? How do you see it evolving?
It's going to be interesting. I think, especially in Brisbane and Australia, with the games coming up, there's going to be a lot of there's going to be a very high demand for elite sports, and as a result, EPs and S&Cs are really going to rise to the forefront, I think. As the client also, the everyday client starts to get a little bit more education, and there's a little bit more education pumped into the GP clinics of what an EP can do and offer, I think the space is just going to grow. Physio laid the platform 50, 60 years ago, or whatever it was. EP only laid it, 10, 15 years ago, whatever it might be. It's so green, and I'm really excited to see how the space evolves. I don't know how it'll evolve yet, but I mean, the interns and the practitioners that keep coming in here, they're just getting better and better. Everyone's just that little bit more switched on. Everyone's sharing more information. Everyone's becoming more knowledgeable. So it's exciting where it's going to go. It's just an exciting space to follow, really.
Absolutely. If you were sort of to jump forward, your favourite question. It's on 20 years, 30 years, be it yourself, be it EP as an industry. How do you sort of think it's going to be interpreted? And I guess more importantly, if you could leave a mark, how would you want that to be interpreted by people in the future?
I knew this questions were coming. It's a tough one. 20 to 30 years ago, 20 to 30 years from now, I just want to keep helping people, as cliche as that sounds. Yeah, as Gandhi would say. It's a very rewarding space to be in. I think with the technology that we've got access to, it's just going to keep continuing to grow, and I'm super excited for that. As to where I will be, hopefully, potentially running an amazing practice somewhere. But for as long as I can, I'm going to be just doing as much hands-on work as I possibly can. I'm not in the industry to sit in the head office of something and do nothing. I'm more of a hands-on. I really like engaging with clients and talking to people. So for me, I'm going to do that as long as I possibly can. And wherever that takes me, I'll happily go, as long as I'm consistently learning and trying to bring a better result to the people that I'm looking after.
Love it, mate. Very profound, Mr. Gandhi.
I know.
Hey. We've sort of spoken about a message and a theme to your clients. that you wish they knew or sort of brought to every session, or people thinking about getting into exercise and stuff with an EP? If you lean on practitioners a little bit more, be it 3 points for aspiring practitioners, be it someone in high school that's thinking about going into this industry, be it a couple of people that have just started, whatever it might be. What's kind of your main point or message that you want them to understand?
Yeah, for someone doing EP, it's so broad. So dip your toes into something early. Me personally, I was working at my high school doing some elite sports programming. Like, get your feet in there as quickly as you can and figure out whether you like it, because it's so broad. You might not like musculoskeletal rehab, but you might like cardio rehab. Like you might like renal, metabolic, whatever it might be. Like there's so many avenues, spinal, NDIS, whatever it might be. So the biggest thing is as early as you can, dive into something, reach out to someone. I know someone who most recently, they wanted to be in professional sport. I know that they reached out to someone working at the Broncos, and that guy just on LinkedIn, and that guy invited him in, had a coffee with him, ended up setting him up, and now he's doing an internship over at the Gold Coast Titans. Like, people are so generous in this industry, but a lot of us are too shy to ask. I know I would have been too shy to ask. So people will give time. You just have to be willing to ask them to give time, and you'll figure out very quickly what you like and what you don't like.
Yeah, totally, mate. Very good. Very powerful, mate. Beautiful. I guess to bring it home, for all your clients listening and anyone else that I guess is thinking of engaging in exercise for the first time, be it young or old, or injured, abled, disabled, whatever it might be. What's sort of your big take-home message for them, mate, to sort of hammer the nail in the coffin?
Do we go inspirational again?
Yeah, man. You've done it already.
I've run out. I think, like what I was saying before, like the first step's the toughest thing. It's a bit of both of the first step, but then also asking the question. I had someone earlier, about 2 weeks ago, who at the end of our session, I was talking to them about the plan, and they were literally just like, the hardest step was me walking in here today. Just whatever you tell me to do, I'm ready to do it. And so it's just like the first step's always going to be the hardest. Jump into it. Everyone's here to help, 100%. Whether it's some form of specialty unit, cardio rehab, whatever it might be, everyone's ready to help. So dive in.
Don't wait, dive in.
Don't wait. That's it.
Beauty. Well, mate, you've certainly grabbed the bull by the horns for the last 2+ years. It's been awesome to see, and it obviously resonates in the way you talk about it as well, which I'm sure everybody can hear. But I know everybody feels, and we see it and we feel it, mate. So you're greatly appreciated across the board, and just don't stop being you, mate. It's awesome to have you a part of our team, and thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.
Cheers.